Hello, Ann B. here with Accounting Assistance Team. I am a cloud accountant specializing in QuickBooks Online. I help small business owners save time, gain insight, and grow. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to apply for a Payroll Protection Program Second Draw online. I'm showing you this form from the SBA's website only to give you an example of the information that's going to be required for the application. Do not bother or waste any time to fill this out manually. There's a faster way to do it online. Links will be provided. But I just want to take you through the process. It's been a busy week the last few days trying to help clients prepare for and apply for their PPP loans, whether it's a first round or second round. Most of them right now are doing second round. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to do a video to kind of walk you through each step so you can see how easy the process actually is. Our company has also applied for a payroll protection program through our lending partner, Biz Loans. They provide a fast, easy way to apply online for your SBA PPP loan. Basically, they've taken everything on the SBA application and added it to their online portal. And it takes you step by step so that you can add the necessary information required that they will then forward to the SBA as soon as the SBA starts accepting applications. Getting your information in as soon as possible ensures that you'll have a place in line sooner rather than later if you wait too long. And as you can see, they have specialized in SBA loans since 2013, and their network of banks has funded nearly $4 billion in SBA, PPP, and bank term loans. So whether or not this is the first time you're applying for the PPP or your second time applying, you can use their portal to do either one. Now, of course, there are some qualifications to apply. So your company has to have less than 500 employees. Of course, all this can change. It's changing all the time, but as far as we know now, previous loan recipients with less than 300 employees can also qualify if they have experienced at least a 25% drop in gross revenue quarter over quarter for the previous year. Now that distinction is really important. It's the gross revenue, not the net revenue, okay? So for example, in a certain quarter of 2019, let's just say first quarter, compared with your first quarter of 2020, there has to be a drop of at least 25% in revenue to qualify for the second round. And to start the application process, you would go through the portal and enter in your information, first and last name, business name, email, phone number, and the type of business. And of course, it's always important to mention that the PPP loan proceeds can only be used for costs relating to payroll, rent or lease, mortgage interest payments, utility services, operational expenses, property damage, supplier costs, and worker protection expenses. So if you end up using the loan for anything else, be prepared to pay those funds back. They probably will not qualify for forgiveness. So just know that going in, there are certain qualified, things that you're allowed to spend the money on to be forgiven. So just be aware of that. So then they take you through the steps, and they'll take you through understanding your financial needs, getting to know your business, and helping you apply for the loan. So to see if there's a pre-qualification, they will check about the owner information, and they'll ask questions like, have you already received a PPP loan? So if you already got from the first round funds from the loan, then you have to indicate yes. And in that situation, they will then ask, what was your first loan number? So be sure you have a copy of your first loan note, because that will have the loan number up on the documentation, and you will need to enter that in. So be prepared to have that. Also, it doesn't matter who you received the first round PPP from. You don't have to use the same lender over and over again. So it doesn't matter where you got your first one, you can use this portal to quickly and easily apply for round 2. So one of the first things they want to know is, how long has your business been in operation? What is the industry of your business? And there's a little drop-down list to choose from. And where is your business located? Also, how many employees do you have on the payroll? So for example, if you are a sole proprietor or independent contractor and it is just you, there's an option for that. If you have one or more employees, just pick the category that best fits the number of employees you have on payroll. Then of course you need to create an online account so that later as you're going through the loan process you'll be able to check in on the progress, and then you can enter in any information they need to contact you about your loan. Then we continue going through the process of entering in the owner and company information. So we're going to enter in the details for all those who own 20% or more of the applicant business. So is the owner a person, or does another business own this entity? You'll then continue to enter either the owner information or in the business information. So in our case, this example today, we're just doing it as an individual owning the business. So you'll fill in the first and last name, the percentage of ownership, the address, the date of birth, and the social security number of the individual owner in this scenario. And once you pre-qualify, you can continue to the next step. And of course, the SBA will require certain documents to be uploaded to the portal so to see and make sure that you qualify for the PPP loan. So for example, if you have payroll, you're going to need your Form 941 quarterly reports, perhaps even the 940 annual report, and any other payroll summary or payroll detail reports for the entire year of 2019 and or 2020. I recommend getting both sets because the more documentation you have during the application process, the less likely they'll reach out to you later to keep requesting more information. The more you can upload ahead of time, the better off you'll be in the process. If you do not have payroll, and let's just say you are a sole proprietor or independent contractor, then in that case you need to have a copy of your profit and loss for 2019 and 2020 if you have that prepared, or at least a partial report for 2020 as much as you can to get an accurate information for them to process the loan. Basically, if you are a sole proprietor, they'll be looking at the net profit amount and then taking the average monthly amount of that and then using that for the calculation. So for the payroll analysis portion, they'll be taking you through how to figure out the average monthly payroll first. So they're saying here are the following steps. In the next screen, you'll select one of the listed documents that we will use to calculate your average monthly payroll. Next, we'll help you find the information within the selected document so that you can enter the correct payroll amount. We'll automatically calculate the loan amount for you. Once you've entered the required information, simply upload your document into our secure system for verification. Now it says it'll take approximately 10 to 15 minutes, but here's the thing, it's 10 to 15 minutes per module they take you through. So just kind of know that going in. Probably need to set aside a good hour for this process and have your PDF documents already prepared ahead of time to upload. For the business information, they need to know what is the entity type. So in the drop-down, there will be choices such as sole proprietor, independent contractor, limited liability company, corporation, C Corp, S Corp, partnership, those kind of choices. You need to know that going in as well. And then based on what you've told us, we understand that your business has less than 100 employees. That's for our particular situation to go through this example. What is the exact number of employees you have? If you do not have employees, you can put 0. So for example, however many active people you have on the payroll, you would enter them, and then you have to choose what industry is your business in. So if you have a copy of your tax return, this is actually listed on the business tax form. It's usually a 6-digit NAICS code, and it basically just kind of tells them what industry you're in. If you're not sure, you can always do an online search and kind of look through the choices because it's a long list, but the fastest way to find this number is to just see what was on your last tax return. And then what month and year did you start your business? Next, you need to choose the document type that you will be uploading for them to review. So you can do payroll reports, your tax return. As much documentation as you can find will be helpful when they start reviewing your information to determine if you qualify for the loan. You can also choose the option that says, I have custom reports I would like to upload. And that's the option that I went because I wanted to include reports such as the quarter-over-quarter comparison and some other documentation that I felt was important for them to have for our loan determination. So I kind of chose the custom route. For calculating the loan amount, they basically are trying to find out what is your monthly payroll cost. So if you have employees on payroll, you can run some payroll reports and then determine what is your average, gross wages expense for the payroll. In the situation where you are a sole proprietor, you would take your profit and loss report from 2019 or from 2020 if you have everything entered in and ready to do that, and you would basically take your net profit, divide it by 12 months of the year, and then multiply that by 2.5, because basically they're taking your average payroll over the course of 2.5 months, and that's what they're using to calculate the loan amount. Once you enter in the average monthly payroll, this portal will automatically calculate the PPP loan amount. Also, you'll notice there's a little box at the bottom, and it just says, please share any explanation about information provided above that you think would be helpful to us when reviewing your application. So any kind of notes or additional details that they might need that will help with your application. Once you've entered in that section, it takes you into the next where they continue to ask for the required information. So now we'll ask some more detailed questions about your business and the owners, as well as collect the required supporting documentation. We've made this flexible by allowing you to provide documents at any time. So if you can't get a hold of all of your reports now, it's okay. Upload what you can and then just circle back around to it later and finish the rest of the upload. The list of documents required will update as you complete the rest of the application, so don't be surprised if new documents appear as we tailor that list to your specific loan request. So you can either continue the application or you can start uploading documents. This next section takes you through some more information about the business and has you answer some yes or no questions, and these are directly from the SBA application. So depending on how you answer these questions, you may or may not qualify for the loan. Another important qualification is being able to prove that you had a decrease in gross receipts of 25% or more when comparing one quarter of 2020 to the same quarter in 2019. So for example, if you're comparing quarter 4 for both years or quarter 2 for both years, one of those quarters needs to show a decrease in gross revenue. Also, I understand that you can do a total year calculation to show here was the total amount in 2019, here's the total amount in 2020, and if that shows a 25% decrease, that counts also. For most businesses, it is probably going to be quarter 1 or quarter 2 that's going to be their decrease in revenue, because during that period of time, that's when a lot of businesses were completely shut down. So that's probably going to be the main window of time that most businesses qualify. On the next screen, you indicate which quarter that you want to do the comparison. You then enter a little bit of details about the business. For example, describe the history of your business. What types of products and services does it provide? Another important thing that the SBA wants to know is what is the purpose of this loan and how are you going to use the loan proceeds? And of course, multiple things can be chosen here. Salaries, utilities, rent or interest mortgage, any of these choices that you are planning to use the funds for, just go ahead and indicate them here. Now the next section is on demographics, and of course this is all completely voluntary. You just select any that pertain to you. I am an Air Force veteran, so for our company, when we were completing the loan application, I did choose to indicate veteran status, and I do encourage my fellow veterans to do the same. And you just continue through this section until you are complete. Now again, the demographic section is completely voluntary and you don't have to fill that out. However, I will mention this one important thing. The SBA is specifically trying to reach out to minority, underserved, veteran, and women-owned businesses for second round PPP. They're trying to do more outreach, they're trying to do more awareness. They even opened up the first window of the application for specifically for this group. So smaller banks, smaller lenders were the first ones that were allowed to process any PPP applications. And, one of the reasons they did that was to try to encourage, businesses that fall into this category to apply for the payroll protection program. And if we go further down, I believe this is page 3, you'll notice that it says, in addition, the SBA has added a demographic reporting section on the application. PPP lenders should encourage borrowers to report the optional information that has been added to better inform lenders and the SBA on the success of our efforts to reach underserved, minority-owned, veteran-owned, and women-owned businesses. So, again, the demographic section is completely voluntary, but I do encourage anyone who, may fall into one of those categories to mark it so that they can see if they were successful in this outreach program. Once you have uploaded your documentation and gone through all of the questions, it just comes to this last section. This is the section for the SBA required questions. So the following questions are required by the SBA in order to obtain your loan. Are the products and/or services of the business available to the general public? Yes or no? How many jobs will be created as a result of this loan? How many jobs will be retained as a result of this loan that would have been lost otherwise? And just continue as needed. Next is the section for your personal information if you are an individual owner of a company. So they will require you to upload a color copy, photograph, PDF of your driver's license or passport to prove your identity. And once you go through that process, you will come to this page, provide any additional documents requested. And once you're all the way through the process, you will come to the application status page. So this shows the date that the application was started, and it gives you your application number and the estimated loan amount. So here is where you will come back to check the progress, because of course their team will start reviewing your paperwork. They'll reach out with any questions they have. You'll go through the banking review and then eventually the funding process. Now right now, nobody knows exactly how long this is going to take. There's a lot of people applying for the PPP, second round. And it just depends on how quickly you get your application in, how quickly you get the supporting documentation uploaded, and how quickly they can go through the review process for you. But so far, just going online through the process has been very fast for our company. So we hope this has been helpful. I hope you are able to get the funding you need to keep your team going. And if you know another small business owner that can benefit from this information, please pass this on to them. Thanks. See you in the next video.